Hello, this is Double Wilson back with another edition of Old School Boxing Talk. You know what? As I was going to do this video, when I started talking about this, started putting my plans together for this video, I was going to come on here and rant about the WBC and this stupid bullshit franchise title they're trying to push on our throats. And I'm going to do a little bit of that, because that's my main thing for this video. Um, I've been a boxing fan almost all my life, and I studied the sport, participated in the sport. The sport is my passion. And when I see the WBC doing this, what it's doing is disservice, that it's taken two select fighters, Vasily Lomachenko and Canelo Alvarez, and appointing them their franchise title champion the minute they have a mandatory they don't want to face. Now, for Vasily Lomachenko, this was a stupid move, and here's why. You don't have to fight your mandatory for at least another year. And you had time. You could have a stay busy fight, which is a voluntary, which is allowed voluntary. Then you're going into a unification, which of course unifications trump mandatories. You could have been the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, the first one since Pernell Whitaker. But you blew it because because of the fear of having to face Devin Haney, you decided to petition the WBC to become a franchise champion, thus vacating, giving up your WBC championship to Devin Haney to avoid fighting Devin Haney when you didn't have to deal with Devin Haney for another year. You could have went and had your little tune-up fight this year that you're going to have, turned around and had your fight with the winner of Coleman and Lopez, become undisputed. Then you have to worry about the Devin Haney situation. You also didn't have to worry about the Tank Davis situation, but you still have to deal with Tank Davis because the WBA has made Tank Davis a mandatory. So you still have a Tank Davis situation to deal with. But you didn't have to deal with that until after you became undisputed. Become undisputed. Make history. Then, okay, now we have to deal with how we're going to go about this situation. When is it? And then when is these mandatories due? And in what order are they due? You might not have to fight Devin Haney for another year and a, till 2022. Because you figure, okay, you fought the WBA mandatory, so you don't got to worry about Tank Davis because you just fought you fulfilled the mandatory when you beat Corolla for the WBA. Even though Tank is now the mandatory for the WBA, you don't got to worry about that. The IBF, you don't have to worry about mandatory if you unify because the mandatory was being fulfilled when Coleman fights Lopez. Lopez is the mandatory, so you don't have to worry about a mandatory there. The WBO. I don't even know if they make Bob Arum fighters fight mandatories. I think they do, but it wasn't nothing serious. And the WBC mandatory. That was to be Devin Haney, and you had time for that. So there was no reason to request a franchise unless you just didn't want the Haney fight. And that's what it looks like, that you just did not want to fight Devin Haney. And you gave up your approach. This is the Gennady Golovkin 2.0. Golovkin would not fight anyone when Laura at 154 called him out. He said no. When the young lines at 154 were calling Golovkin out and were calling Canelo out, they both found a way to get away from those guys. Golovkin, and when Golovkin was saying, when Abel Sanchez, who was Golovkin's trainer at the time, was saying, we'll fight anybody from 154 to 175, and Andre Ward knocked on his door, he said, oh no, we don't want, we want to be undisputed. All of these Eastern European fighters start crying about we want to be undisputed. The only one that's actually went after was Sergey Kovalev. Golovkin and Lomachenko are full of shit. They never even tried to go after undisputed. Kovalev did. Kovalev was one belt away, and the only reason Kovalev was not the undisputed light heavyweight champion was because Adonis Stevenson wasn't going to fight him. So this is my thing to all of you people that are Lomachenko fans and Golovkin fans who keep sitting there crying about how Lomachenko and Golovkin are so feared. Bullshit. Nobody feared them. The only one of these guys, I've said this before, of all the Eastern European fighters that have come here that has performed for me, the best one is Kovalev. Even though now he's on the back end of his career, he's the one guy that never bullshitted me. He's the one guy that said, I want to be undisputed, and went out and did what he said he was going to do. And the only thing that stopped him from becoming the undisputed light heavyweight champion was the fact that Adonis Stevenson took his ball and ran to Showtime and refused to make the fight. That was a deal with Adonis Stevenson and PBC, Uncle Al, protecting Adonis Stevenson. Because everybody knew Adonis Stevenson, if he fought Kovalev, was going to he was going to beat the shit out of him. He was going to get his ass beat. Adonis Stevenson didn't fight nobody, really. He fought the softest touches, guys that he could beat for the law to hold on to that belt. When he did fight somebody, Volstick, that was half decent, he got his ass beat. And we just seen Beterbiev just beat the shit out of Volstick. Now that guy Beterbiev is a guy I'm looking forward to seeing. That guy is the truth. I want to see if he continues on the path, if he gets Bivol, and because he's not going to get the winner of Kovalev Canelo, because Kovalev, if he beats Canelo, which honestly I like both guys, but if I had to take one guy I would really love to see win this fight, it would be Kovalev, because I really like Sergey Kovalev, despite all the racist bullshit and shit outside. I don't look. Nobody in life is perfect. There are a lot of fighters out there who, as people, I don't like. I don't like what I see from Floyd Mayweather. I don't like Floyd Mayweather as a person. I wouldn't want to meet Floyd Mayweather. I wouldn't want to hang out with Floyd Mayweather. As a person, I don't think Floyd Mayweather is somebody I would want to be around. But as a fighter, I respect the hell out of what he does in that ring. Sergey Kovalev, from what I hear about him, he's not the nicest person in the world, not somebody I want to hang out with, not somebody I want to deal with. But for what he's given me inside the ring, I respect the hell out of him. And he's one of my favorite guys inside there. And like I said, I like Canelo Alvarez as well. Canelo, again, another guy who outside the ring, I don't think I'd want to hang out with him. But inside the ring, what he's giving me in the ring, I like. And when I'm going to get on Canelo, so before, start thinking I believe tonight we're going to have a pretty good fight on DAZN. I don't like the rehydration clause. I don't like that prima donna bullshit that Canelo pulls. But look, he's the guy that's bringing the money, so he can pull that shit. And if you go for that shit, then fuck it fine. I would really love to see Kovalev win this fight. I don't think he will, but I would be overjoyed if Kovalev won this fight. Why? Because when I look at Canelo and I look at Kovalev and I look at who gave me the most bang for my buck, Kovalev gave me more bang for my buck. When I look at who is a fighter, a true fucking fighter, it's Kovalev. Because Kovalev will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. Kovalev has never, ever, ever been accused of ducking anybody. And he hasn't ducked anybody. Kovalev has fought everybody that was put in front of him, and some guys he beat twice. I mean, look at John Pascal. Kovalev knocked him out twice. Pascal just beat Marcus Brown, one of the young up and coming lions. Marcus Brown, of course, was supposed to fight Kovalev, and that fight fell through. The point is, would I love to see Kovalev win this fight? Absolutely, because what the guy does in that ring, and he is a fighter, regardless of whatever he got going on outside the ring. Inside that ring, he's a fighter. But I don't think he will. I think Canelo gets a decision here. But let's get to Canelo. I'm listening to, all the prima donna bullshit, and I've been on Canelo's ass, even though I like Canelo. And if I was going to do a pound for pound, when I did say if I was going to do a pound for pound, Canelo would probably be he'd be in my top three. He'd be in my top three. I would have Crawford number one. I would have Canelo either 2 or 3, and I forgot who the hell else I would have in there. Because I don't rate heavyweights. If I'm going to do a pound for pound, I don't rate heavyweights. but pound for pound is subjective, and that's why I don't do them, because everybody, they're like assholes. Everybody has an opinion on them, and you know. But if I was going to do one, I know Canelo would be in my top three. Now, on that note, though, my issues with Canelo Alvarez come down to the same issues I have with Vasily Lomachenko. I also like every time there's a young, hungry, talented black fighter, and I'm going to go there because this is the truth. Vasily Lomachenko, Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez, you guys go the other way. You're giving up belts. You're doing the sport a disservice. But this is why I rate Kovalev ahead of you guys, because Kovalev ran from nobody. Kovalev could have said, "I don't want Andre Ward. The fuck I want with that." No. He said, "Yeah, bring his ass on up here. I'll take care of him. Bring his ass on up here." First fight was close. Kovalev, let's run that back. Andre Ward, let's run that back. He lost. All right, Kovalev pissed off. He lost. But the fact is, Kovalev didn't run from Andre Ward. He took the fucking fight. He won his belt back after the war. He fought Eliter Alvarez, another, it was a monster at the time. Kovalev could have said, "I don't want that fucking fight. That young boy, I don't fuck with Eliter. Nah, fuck you." He said, "No, bring him up. Bring his ass on in here. I'll take care of him." He lost. He got that back, came back, beat Eliter Alvarez. Just went to London. Young boy, Tony Yard, he could have sidestepped that shit and just went right into Canelo fight. He said, "Nah, I'm take care of this business right here." Kovalev has shown me the willingness that Golovkin and Lomachenko have not. He's shown me he's a fucking fighter. And he'll fight anybody. He don't care who you are. There are no young lions roaming around the WBO that's got Kovalev hiding. Nobody's saying Kovalev's a cherry picker. Nobody. Now, people say a lot of shit about Sergey Kovalev. Oh, he's shot, he's this, he's that. But nobody is going to say Sergey Kovalev's a ducker. Nobody is going to say Sergey Kovalev at his best duck anybody, because he didn't. You got Canelo Alvarez, who's got Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade at 160. So what do? You run away from 160 and jump up to 175. Then there's media talking, says, "Oh, we're not going back down to 160. Canelo Alvarez, and this is what disappointed. As much as I like Canelo, you've been ducking Charlo and Andrade since 154. When you guys were all at 154 pounds together, when coming up, when the minute those guys got in there, you decided to create Canelo weight of 155 to avoid fighting Demetrius Andrade and the Charlos. Then when Demetrius Andrade got stripped of the WBO title, you dropped down to fight Liam Smith for that WBO title. Then you vacated. Then you went up there. You fought a smallish middleweight in Miguel Cotto, because Cotto wasn't going to fight. Everybody knew Cotto wasn't going to fight Golovkin, so you stepped in there, fought that fight. Okay, then you went. You Canelo weighted Amir Khan. Come on, man. You've been pulling some bullshit, but I've defended you to the extent of saying, well, Canelo, Canelo's my dog, blah 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 blah. But you make it hard. Now, and then the thing with me, Canelo, I understand, okay, you're ducking Charlo, you're ducking Andre. I can see that. For Andre, I can see. Because Demetrius Andrade, his style is a lot like Floyd's, only a southpaw version of Floyd. So you couldn't do shit with Floyd. The only reason you got a draw was because Adelaide Bird was fucking on. I don't know what the fuck she was on that night, but that's the only reason you got that, because Floyd beat your ass. So I can see you ducking Demetrius Andrade. Jamal Charlo's not that kind of dude. Jamal Charlo's a guy to sit there and bang with you, But I'm not, you must really feel that you can't hang with Charlo. Because Charlo's not a sticker mover. Charlo's going to be right there in the pocket and be like, bring your ass. So you must be afraid of that. Because some reason the Charlo brothers scared the fuck out of you, because you've been avoiding them. You've been avoiding them you just avoid the fuck out of the Charlo brothers. I could see Demetrius Andrade. I'm going to go. I see Demetrius Andrade. I've seen him fight. His style for you, yes, because you haven't learned from the Floyd fight. So I can see you not wanting to fuck with Demetrius Andrade. I can see that. and because his style's a lot like Floyd's, and you can't deal with that, and I understand that. I see that. Floyd between a little bit of Floyd, a little bit of honest Laura. The only reason Laura gave that fight away. I felt that with the Laura fight went to me a lot like Oscar and Tito Trinidad, where it's pretty much just like Oscar did against Trinidad, where Oscar had to fight one but then gave it away late. Laura had to fight one and then gave it away late and let you come on and you got the decision, which I have no problem. I still don't think Trinidad deserved the decision over Oscar, and I like Tito. But I think that Laura gave that fight with you away. So you got the nod, and I have no beef about that because Laura just, stayed on his game. So I understand you not wanting to fight Demetrius Andrade because you just can't. No, that's a fight I know, and everybody that knows something knows you ain't gonna win that fight. That style is all wrong for you, so Boo Boo's all wrong for you. I get it, but why are you running for the Charlo brothers? They got J Rock coming up. I mean, look, you running. It seems like you and Golovkin were in. You and Golovkin got in the middleweight division, and when there was nothing there was nothing but the David Lemieux and all these these guys from France and all these other motherfuckers. These guys that were in there because they were just bodies in there. Then and then the minute though that crop of 154 pounders, the Charlos and Andrade, the minute them guys grew up and grew into 160, y'all looking for exits because see the thing is 160 is gonna get crowded. You I'm gonna call you out. Canelo, Golovkin, Danny Jacobs. The minute 160 got hot with the Charlo brothers, with Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, now behind them you got Jared Hurd coming up there, and how long before J Rock comes up there, and how long before the other Charlo comes up there? 160 is about to get very, very, very hot, and Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, they're going to fight each other because that's their escape. That's the only people they can fight is each other at 160. How long before the WBO? The WBA is most likely going to do this bullshit where when Canelo decides to give up the WBA title, they're going to elevate Ryota Murata to the super champion. Murata's going to take the WBA title and hide in Japan. Um, you know, that's what he's going to attempt to do. He's going to take that WBA super title and try to hide in Japan with that shit. But I think one of them young lions going, Jared Hurd, or one of them boys going to hunt his ass the hell down. And they're going to go to Japan and beat his ass, grab that belt, grab that strap. Because I see Murata, he's not that good. The thing is, you guys, Golovkin's always been, in my opinion, been overrated and overhyped. He was great for HBO, and I watched Max on boxing. I watch how now Max Kellerman, who was on HBO, praising Golovkin, now is backstab, is stepping back and saying, I never thought this, never thought that, when he was on his nuts on HBO. So now, now he's backing off. And I'm going to tell you this, if Golovkin had been on ESPN, Max Kellerman would still be on his nuts. But because he's on the zone, Max Kellerman says, now I can take shots at you. Golovkin, in my opinion, has never been all that good. I never really thought much Golovkin. I would have liked to see the Puro fight, but I felt Golovkin was a case of a guy who was shrewdly managed. Now, they use the ideal thing, Felix Sturm would ducked him in Germany. Well, yeah, Felix Sturm was a guy that, Felix Sturm, the biggest fight of Felix Sturm's career was against Oscar De La Hoya. He came to the U.S. as WBO middleweight champion. He got his ass beat. Well, no, he won that fight. He beat Oscar's ass, and Oscar got the decision. And that's when the WBO decided the title became a major title because Oscar took it into that unification with Bernard. They unified the division, and Bernard knocked out Oscar. Before that, nobody gave a fuck with the WBO title. Nobody gave a fuck with Riddick Bowe was the WBO heavyweight champion, and then nobody gave a fuck about that belt. When I think that belt was on the line, Riddick Bowe defended that belt in his third fight with Holyfield. Nobody gave a fuck about that belt because we had fucking Lennox Lewis. We knew who the man was. Lennox Lewis was the fucking man. Give a fuck with that belt. That's why Lennox Lewis didn't go after. Lennox Lewis said, shit, if I'd known that was a major belt, I'd have went and picked it up. And he could have. Lennox Lewis could have beat Herbie Hyde. There's a lot of motherfuckers. He could have made Lennox, he could have made, he could have made, Riddick Bowe drop that belt in the trash to avoid fighting him. The point of the matter is, these belts and these sanctioning bodies are the ruination of boxing. The WBA is the WBA. I felt the WBA was the worst with all their 20 million champions. You got 4 or 5 different champions per division. You got the interim. You got the interim. You got the regular. You got the super. Now you got the gold. What the fuck is that? But nowhere is it as bad as the WBC, which is now decided we're going to have a designation of a franchise champion where you can't lose the belts. You can't lose it. So how do you defend? You can't defend it either. Because you can't defend something you can't lose. How do you defend something you can't lose? You can't. So what that's going so that's what I'm saying with Lomachenko, unification's off the table. Because you cannot put your franchise designation on the line. It can't be lost in the ring. It's a designation. All that is so the WBC can collect some money off your dumb ass. And you don't have to fight Devin Haney. So when you fight the winner of Coleman and Lopez, you're not going to be undisputed. You're going to be unified, which you already are. But all that's going to be is Uncle Bob's in-house. Uncle Bob's going to have the whole lightweight division in-house. That's what Uncle Bob wants. He wants it all in-house. But you're not going to be undisputed. There's going to be people trying to lie. ESPN will try to lie, like they try to take that loss off your record and say, oh, you're undefeated, when we all know it's on YouTube and I watched the fight that you lost, that you lost your second pro bout. So we owe it to Orlando Salido. We all know that. That's on record. Here's a funny thing about Orlando Salido. Orlando Salido has done this to Bob Arum on 2 occasions. Really, almost 3, but really 2. I'm going to bring up all 3 of them where Orlando Salido really almost derailed Bob Arum's plans. First, Bob Arum had Yuriorkis Gamboa and Juan Ma Lopez, 2 undefeated fighters at featherweight division. We're going to let that fight marinate, as Uncle Bob would say. He was trying to build that fight up because instead of taking the money that was on the table, he thought he could make a super fight out of it, and you're not going to make a super fight out of those 2 guys. And, of course, the fight never happened, but let's get back to the story. He put Salido in with Gamboa. Salido dropped Gamboa, had Gamboa in some anxious moments, but Gamboa got through the fight and won a decision. Okay, so now you see that. So that's a warning sign. But now, not Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob, they got to have a common opponent so now I can build up, well, who beat him better? So he took Orlando Salido, sent him to Puerto Rico to fight Juan Ma. Well, Orlando Salido knocked Juan Ma the fuck out. Not once, but twice. Went back, knocked him out. There went the unification between Yuriorkis Gamboa and Juan Ma, because Juan Ma was struggling to make 126. They knew this. They should have went and made the damn fight, but they didn't. Salido knocks out Juan Ma. Then they make him go back to Puerto Rico and beat Juan Ma a second time. Fight over, case in point, we're done. No Gamboa Lopez. That fight was off. Was off. Juan Ma was never the same again. But they showed signs. Juan Ma had already shown signs that he needed to get the fuck up out of 126. Bob Arum, you fucked up. Then you took Juan Ma. You went fucking with Orlando Salido. Put him in with Mikey Garcia. And again, Orlando Salido fucked Mikey Garcia up, and the only reason Mikey Garcia won that fight was there was a headbutt, and Mikey hurt his nose, and Mikey said, "Oh, I can't continue," and he won a technical decision. He didn't. He won a technical decision over Orlando Salido because Orlando Salido was coming on, was about to beat Mikey Garcia's ass, and Mikey got that technical decision because he hurt his nose. Because Orlando Salido's a rough, rugged motherfucker. That's 3 fights right there. You would know now, Bob. Don't fuck with Orlando Salido with your fighters. He gave Gamboa. He nearly took out Gamboa, but Gamboa survived. He took out Wama, not once but twice, and he damn nearly took out Mikey Garcia. But Mikey got lucky, the little technical decision, and they gave him the belt. So what do you do, Bob? You go back with your little 1-0 Lomachenko, who, and you say, we're going to fight for the vacant WBO featherweight title. And you run into Orlando Salido. And guess what? Orlando Salido beats Lomachenko's ass. Damn, Bob. You would think that if there's one guy in boxing thank God he's retired now, but at that point, there's one guy in boxing, if I'm Bob Arum, who I would have been avoiding, it would have been Orlando Salido. Because every fucking time my guy comes against Orlando Salido, he fucks them up. Win, lose, or draw, he fucks them up. I would have never, if I'm Bob Arum, after Gamboa, I would have never. Maybe even after Wanma, I would have never fucked with Orlando Salido again. My guys, no, we ain't fighting that motherfucker. But Bob Arum doesn't learn. Anyway, so they try to erase that. That's why I'm pointing it out here. It's fact. You go find Lomachenko versus Salido. Find it on YouTube. Watch the fight. Lomachenko did win the fight. He beat Gary Russell Jr. in his third pro fight to win the WBO title, the vacant WBO title. The thing is, here's the deal. When you go to fight for a vacant title, Salido came in overweight, so the title was only on the line to be won by Lomachenko, who came in on weight. Salido could not win the belt, so Salido winning the fight left the belt vacant, which is a lot different from this WBO franchise title where you walk in and both men come in on weight, yet you still can't. The title's not on the line. There's nothing on the line. That WBC franchise title's not on the line. The winner of Comey Lopez, they can't win that. That can't be won in the ring. It can't be lost. So how do you defend something you can't lose? Which is my problem. And anybody that tries to say Lomachenko is the undisputed after he beats that guy next year is full of shit. You cannot be undisputed when you have nothing to put on the line. The only belts that Lomachenko's going to put on the line are the WBA, the WBO titles. That's it. And the winner and Comey Lopez is putting the IBF. So those 3 titles on the line. The WBC championship is not on the line because that belongs to Devin Haney. That franchise title's not franchise tag's not on the line because you can't put it on the line. You can't lose it. So how can you become undisputed when you can't put something on the line? Undisputed, you have to put everything on the line. Guess what? Lomachenko, you got a designation from the WBC that allows him to take money from your stupid ass. That's stupid. You're stupid. Canelo's stupid. And you know what? You can turn that shit down, and probably that's what happened with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder said, I don't want that bullshit. Deontay Wilder now himself, I don't want that bullshit. Fuck that. About making history here, about my legacy. And that's what it's about. Any fighter that takes that franchise title, fuck you. You automatically decided you don't want a legacy. In the sport of boxing, you are judged by what you do in the ring, and when you're done, you're judged by your legacy. Who did you fight? When did you fight him? Did you fight the best of your era? Did you duck anybody? That is why so many people have issues with Floyd Mayweather, because there's so many fighters, people say Floyd didn't fight this guy. Floyd fought, when you fought him, Floyd fought guys at a certain point in time when they felt it was past the expiration date. And there were guys that Floyd didn't fight that people felt Floyd should have fought. So so a lot of people have questions about Floyd, and and not at 130, and not at 135. But Floyd issue with Floyd come out at 147 and 147 is where Floyd's issues come in. Because at 130, Floyd fought everybody. Let me tell you something about Floyd Mayweather at 130. At 130, Floyd Mayweather was the WBC champion. Showtime had the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO junior lightweight champions at the time. Now, Showtime decided that they were going to unify. So they had Arcelino Freitas fight Joel Casamayor. The WBA and the WBO champions fought each other. Freitas won the fight. Okay. Now, Floyd said, I'll fight. Floyd was saying, I want to fight the winner. Well, they're on Showtime, blah, blah, blah. Now they wanted to fight the IBF champion, who just happened to was just won by a young kid named Diego Corrales. Well, young Diego Corrales got a deal from HBO to take his IBF title and go over there and fight Floyd, which he did, but unfortunately, some bullshit and trickery by the IBF stripped Diego Corrales of the IBF title. So when he went in to fight Floyd, the IBF title wasn't on the line. It was just Floyd's title on the line. But of course, as we all know, Floyd masterfully beat the shit out of Diego Corrales. But at 130 pounds, Freitas, Casamayor, they wanted no smoke with Floyd. Floyd cleaned out and fought everybody at 130, and those guys sat there and hid. We get to 135. Floyd was the WBC champion. He fought Castillo. Floyd tried to make a fight with the WBA champion who wanted no smoke. Shane Mosley was offered to fight, but Shane Mosley got an offer to fight Oscar De La Hoya for the WBC welterweight champion. So Shane said, fuck this, dropped the IBF belt and jumped up. Paul Spadafora then won the IBF title. Spadafora, there was rumors that he beat Floyd in sparring, whatever. Spadafora was offered to fight with Floyd. He turned it the fuck down. You see a pattern here? At 130 and 135, Floyd couldn't get the fights. Floyd was then calling out unified 140-pound champion Costa Tszyu. Floyd wanted the Costa Tszyu fight. Again, Costa Tszyu wanted no smoke with Floyd, so Floyd wound up having to go up to 140 and beating up on Arturo Gatti. And even when he beat up on Gatti, again, Floyd had to fight Chop Chop Corley and some other killer. Floyd fought the toughest guys up there. Because, again, Costa Tszyu wasn't going to fuck with Floyd. Floyd went to 147. When Floyd got to 147, Zab Judah was the undisputed welterweight champion. He had just beaten Corey Spinks to win the undisputed title. He then lost a version of the title. He lost the WBC version of the title to Carlos Baltimore a couple months earlier. So he took the WBA and IBF titles into his fight with Floyd. Floyd still pissed at the IBF because of the shit they pulled with Corrales. Wasn't going to pay those fees for the IBF. So Floyd went in there. Floyd beat Zab Judah. Floyd won the WBA title. Well, actually, he won the WBA and the IBF title, but Floyd, he wasn't going to pay those fees to them motherfuckers, so they took their belts. Okay, so now Floyd goes and says, okay, Carlos Baltimore, you're the unified, you're the lineal, let's go get that green belt. Floyd went and beat Baltimore, won, and was the unified, and Floyd was the lineal welterweight champion of the world. Here's where Floyd got some issues. The belts he left behind were now claimed by the WBA belt was now claimed by Miguel Cotto. The IBF belt was claimed by I forgot the boy's name. It'll come to me. Mr. Hand Wraps. Anyways, that belt was claimed there. Now, A lot of people got upset because Floyd didn't fight Miguel Cotto when they both did, their popular powers at 150 at 147. That fight wasn't made because that was Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob didn't want that fight made, so that fight didn't get made. Um, but he fought Cotto like then. Of course, the delay of the Pacquiao fight and Margarito Antonio Margarito claimed the IBF title. I told you the name will come to me later. Margarito claimed that. Then Margarito lost the belt to Paul Williams, a guy, and Paul Williams, another one. He said, well, Floyd didn't fight Paul Williams. There Paul Williams and Margarito, two of the welterweights that they said Floyd should have. Floyd didn't fight. And that's some of the stains on Floyd's little bit of people fuck with Floyd about his legacy. At 147, because he didn't fight Paul Williams. He didn't fight Paul Williams. He didn't fight Miguel Cotto. He didn't fight Margarito. And they say, well, he fought an old Shane Mosley. He fought the Shane Mosley and brought his ass to the ring. You know what I'm saying? When he was going to fight Shane Mosley at 135, Shane saw the money and jumped up to 147. He wasn't going to actually, he wasn't going to fight the best of Shane Mosley because by the time Floyd would have got to Shane Mosley, Shane Mosley was not the same fighter after 34 got through with him. Another guy they said Floyd should have fought didn't fight. But like I said, all these issues with these great fights, that the problem with Floyd was that they said this Floyd didn't fight any good young black fighters. And I can't argue at that point because I don't remember Floyd fighting any young good black fighters above 140. Sean Bay Mitchell was, I think, the last one that he fought. Sean Bay Mitchell's the last young good black fighter he fought. After that, I think, well, Zab Judah. I would see Zab Judah's the best young black fighter he fought at 147. After Zab, yeah, Floyd pretty much stuck to fighting Mexicans, and the only other black fighter he fought was a shot. Shane Mosley was not the same Shane Mosley we fought him. Okay, so that's what Floyd's